If you compare that to Captain Deep and even the complex rhythms and melodies that they have in there, nothing's really going to compare to the library that they have inside of Easy Bass. Welcome back to my channel, In-Flight Music. If you're new here, my name is Ian, and today we are doing an in-depth tutorial for Easy Bass. I have done a previous Easy Bass tutorial in the past, but that was more of just an introduction. Here we're actually going to dive deeper into Easy Bass. And we're actually going to compare this directly with Captain Deep, which was the MIDI bass plugin that we used in the last video. In that video, we were able to take the chord information from Captain Chords, which I'll also link down below. Definitely check out that video because it kicks this whole MIDI series off. And from Captain Chords, all we had to do was just load up Captain Deep. We clicked a button and that allowed us to create a bass line. And from there, we used some of these options to manipulate this. But in terms of bass, Captain Deep is pretty limited compared to something like Easy Bass. So let's go through these tabs real quick. The first tab is the bass, which is our main screen. Here you can access the different effects for that particular bass, the tuning. You have two different basses. Right now we're on Easy Modern. You also have Easy Bass Vintage, and within both of those guitars you actually have a finger section and a pick section. So this is capable of quite a few different tones. You can see down here at the bottom you can actually drag MIDI grooves directly into this playlist right here, or you can click here to add grooves. That automatically creates a 8-bar loop for us. You can also add in individual blocks with this pencil tool right here. You can go to chords or the song parts or a MIDI part. You can right-click the song part and change the song part type to intro, verse, chorus, etc. For the MIDI, you can quantize the MIDI. You can search for similar grooves, which is awesome. Clicking Show Similar Grooves will actually take us to the groove page and filter out the specific types of grooves that we're looking for. But back to the bass screen, let's go ahead and delete this. And then of course you have these chords down here, so you could click on these chords and add/edit these chords. This is very similar to the Easy Keys Circle of Fifths wheel that they pull up for you to make your chord progressions. I may have to do a Circle of Fifths video for you guys here soon because we're running into this quite a bit now. But let's go on over to the groove editor. And here, this is where the fun starts happening. We have tons of different grooves in a lot of different genres and styles that we could choose from. You can press this play button to kind of preview these. And then you could just drag and drop this on top of the MIDI that you have here. And you can see that it's not literally the same exact MIDI that we started out with. It actually manipulated the MIDI that we had here to make it make sense with the chords that we have. So right now, all of our chords are completely in C. So maybe you're someone that does understand the Circle of Fifths, or maybe you're someone that just likes to do a lot of trial and error. But you don't have to do either if you already have your chord information. So we're going to skip over the grid editor for now. Let's go to drums and keys. And this is actually what I showed in the introduction to Easy Bass tutorial. You can actually drag and drop MIDI information into Easy Bass. So if you're using Captain Chords, for example, I'm going to hold Alt and click Easy Bass so that we have both of these open at the same time. And I'm just going to drag my chord information from Captain Chords into Easy Bass. So after dragging and dropping, it actually switched us over to the drums. And this isn't what we're looking for because we dragged chord MIDI into this. So let's click on the keys, and now you'll have these rhythm and chords. And this will make sense with the track. To replace this, all we have to do is just drag and drop right on top. And let's take our select tool, and we don't need this half anymore. Let's highlight all that and hit delete. And now we have a new bass section that matches up perfectly with our chords. So and it works. Super simple, just like the results that we got with Captain Deep, but now we're gonna take it a step further. If we go back to our grooves, now we can imprint the stylings of any of these bass lines onto the bass line of the chord progression that we created. And you can see how much more complicated some of these get compared to the MIDI that we have here. So to do that, all you would have to do is just click Replace MIDI. And now with this style of playing, we'll still be in key with our chord progression. If you compare that to Captain Deep and even the complex rhythms and melodies that they have in there, nothing's really going to compare to the library that they have inside of Easy Bass. From there, you can save your changes. Just click Save Changes. And then let's go into the grid editor. So there is a ton of manipulation that you can do to your bass line inside of Easy Bass. Right here at the top, they have the chords separated out for you, just like they do right here with E minor, C major, so on and so forth. You'll see some of these notes have different colors to them. So these purple notes right here, these are mutes or ghost notes. You can see that it says ghost note right here and it's in purple. So if we click it, you could hear that it's muting versus this green note right here is a percussive right hand. And you can see that it says percussive right hand with the green right there. And you can hear it when I switch back and forth between this ghost note and this percussive right hand. And what's really cool, you can just select the note and scroll through the different types of articulations. And then of course, whatever articulation that you select, that's what you'll click in whenever you add a note. But to add a note, just make sure you click this pencil tool. And just one click will add those notes, and one click will delete those notes. You have alternate picking, downstrokes, upstrokes, ghost notes, harmonic, which is awesome, percussive right hand, tapping, slap pop, ghost slap, and percussive left hand. And then next to that, you have legato and slide notes. So I'm going to find two notes that have a nice little gap, that have a nice little jump between them. So I'm going to highlight these two notes for a nice little slide, and then just click the slide button, and you have a slide. You have your quantize options right here and strength of quantization, and it works on whatever you have highlighted, so you don't have to quantize every single note. You have timing right here where you can adjust the swing, and again, it'll adjust just the swing of whatever notes that you have highlighted. Randomization, note length, and then you can nudge these notes slightly just by one grid size or one sample size. I'm not sure what the timing is with the nudge, but it allows you to just barely move those notes around. Down here at the bottom, you also have control over the velocity, the overall dynamics, and randomize, which is more humanization. You can also select all the same types of notes all at once right here. So you can go by type and then select whatever type of note that is inside of your project at the moment. You could select by resolution. So all of your eighth notes, all of your 16th notes, all of your triplets, so on and so forth. So that's pretty cool. If you click on note, it actually has all your different note options in terms of editing. And then inside of options, you could change your snap settings. And okay, here's the nudge settings, 1/28th. So that's a really minuscule nudge setting. So that's pretty good. And then you have the option for milliseconds and then follow resolution. So whatever your grid is. I think the only thing that I didn't cover was this edit play style, and it'll take the overall performance, move it up or down an octave, change the overall velocity, the amount of notes, so you can make it more or less complex. This is very similar to what we're doing in Captain Chords with the actual chords. Then you have dampening, which I'm pretty sure is the ringing out of the bass guitar. If you move more to the right, it gets darker. More to the left, it gets brighter. You can hold control and click to set anything back to 0. And then we have note length. So this will change the overall length of all the notes. Then last but not least, we have this audio tracker. So when you buy Easy Bass, you actually get this additional plugin called Tune Track Audio Sender. And whatever track this audio sender is on, it'll pick up the audio from that track and send it on over to Easy Bass. You also have the option of just dragging the audio directly into here. You can convert other guitars and bass lines, or you can use rhythm. Now we just press play in FL Studio. I'm going to turn down Easy Bass. Right now we have Captain Chords playing, so this will hear the audio from Captain Chords. This will pull up our conversion window, bass audio to MIDI, guitar audio to bass MIDI, percussive audio to bass MIDI. And we're going to go with the first option, bass audio to MIDI. It also kept our tempo information right here. You could switch up the articulations, percussive mute, grace note, slides, ghost notes. I'm going to leave all those on. I'm going to hit OK. And you'll get this screen that looks very similar to Melodyne. Let's go ahead and hit play. So if you're happy with what you're hearing right there, you can add MIDI to song track. And now you have that MIDI information down here. And of course, you could go back in and edit all that inside of the grid editor. So that pretty much shows you everything that you can do with EasyBass. If you have any questions, definitely comment down below, subscribe and like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.